Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Reason We Learn. I'm your host, Deb Philman. At The Reason We Learn, we aspire to be part of the solution. The purpose of this show is to take a good, honest, potentially painful look at the way kids are being educated. We know we can do better, and this is where we'll talk about how. Let's learn something. I've been meaning to respond to this tweet in a video for, I guess it's about a week now. This is from December 8th. Somebody by the name of Dr. Tarzan B. Johnson, whoever that is, responded to a post I put up announcing my website, thereasonwelearn.com, said something unintelligible about public schools working and said, it's not the quality of education versus what other stuff the kids are learning. It's the quality of parents who care versus the quality of parents who don't. And then I said, it's both. Plenty of caring parents, myself included, have faced vicious, abusive, retributive treatment from schools they cared enough to question. Some have been sued for asking too many questions. The more you care, the more dangerous it is for you and your kids. To which he responded, as long as public school is still teaching kids 2 + 2 = 4 and whatnot, you can parent out all the objectionable shit. Mr. Teacher told me boys can have a vagina and girls can have a penis. Well, Mr. Teacher is an idiot, so we'll just ignore him on that one. Parenting. What do we say, parents? What do we have to say about that? So easy, isn't it? Yeah, obviously, I and many others responded to Dr. Tarzan. Our good friend Anne responded, in her usual way, very directly. But there were lots and lots and lots of other people. Very bad takes. So Keisha says, do you have kids? And this person says, first, you can only parent out what you know about. Second, as they grow, the teacher and other students' influence increases and parents decrease. It is an absolute necessity that parents and teachers be on the same page academically and morally. This person says, I think you're underestimating the power of indoctrination, especially on the very young. If only things were that simple. Unfortunately, reality is that most parents are not able to keep up to date on everything that is going on in school. And then one day, seemingly out of the blue, their girl is a boy. And by the way, I hate you, Dad. You're a racist. That's the whole point of this channel. Like, the reason for The Reason We Learn is that parents were not able to parent the, what did he call it? Other stuff, all the objectionable shit out. And by the way, they're not necessarily teaching the 2 + 2 = 4 anymore, you see, because that's racist, apparently. Equity math is all the rage. They can't, they being parents, they being caring parents, I guess we have to qualify that because Dr. Tarzan says that it's caring parents that should be able to do this. I think it's safe to say uncaring parents aren't even going to try. But I would also argue that plenty of caring parents who just so happen to agree with the other stuff, the objectionable shit, at least what's objectionable to me and to most of you in my audience, they care. I'm not going to cast aspersions on how much they care about their children. I take it on faith that they do. I just think they're wrong. I think they've looked at the situation and have come up with the wrong answer. But I'm not willing to say they don't care about their children. I don't know them. I think you can care deeply and be incorrect about what you choose for your kids. But there are lots and lots of caring parents who don't want this, who see it now. They've been made aware by people like me and many, many others. And they can't stop it for a variety of reasons. One was mentioned here. They can't keep up. The people trying to put one over on them are just faster and better at hiding it or just plain getting away with it right under their noses. But there's something else that I want to spend a moment talking about in this video. I mean, obviously, I made this little reaction video because I want to let all of you know that I stuck up for you. So you're welcome. I mean, I'm not saying you owe me your thanks, but I hope we can agree that this person is clueless as to what y'all have been going through. But also because there's something else besides the inability to keep up and the, not necessarily knowing what's going on. So you can't really fight what you don't know about. That's a given. That's why you're here. It's dangerous, isn't it? It's becoming increasingly dangerous for you and your kids to fight it. It's why I keep telling you, please get your kids out. But I also know that for many of you, that's not necessarily feasible at the moment for a variety of reasons, not least of which that's dangerous to your relationship with your child if you have a teenager and they don't want to leave. You're up against it, aren't you? You want to do what's best for them. You know what's best for them is to get them heck out of that environment. But if you try to pull them out, it could be war in your house. Depending upon, your relationship right now, have they already damaged your relationship with your child? That's a possibility. Is your child just a typical teenager and, wants to do what they want to do and they don't want to do what you want them to do? And maybe they have a few good friends at the school and they don't want to leave them and they can't imagine because they've never seen anything better. They can't imagine it's going to be any better. So all they know it's going to be a dramatic change and they don't want a dramatic change right now. They've had COVID. Their whole world was turned upside down. They be finally back in school and they finally think things are stable again. And no matter what kind of garbage is being foisted upon them, they imagine the unknown to be worse. So you're up against it. You're facing impossible choices. And like I said, that's if your kids are, older. If their kids are little, well, then I'm hoping that the reason you still have them in school is you just can't figure out how to get them out economically and in terms of childcare and things like that. But if you have those older kids, and by older I mean like 5th grade on at this point, since they're starting so young with the brainwashing and the alienation, it's dangerous because your efforts to fight back and be vocal put you on their radar. There being the school district. The school district now includes school counselors who have made no bones about the fact that you're the enemy and that it's okay to tell kids to lie to you. Courage is a Habit told us that. They showed us that. The Counselors Association showed us that themselves. They said so out loud. When people tell you who they are, you should listen. So, you're facing the prospect of being accused of being an abuser, being accused of being unfit, being accused of being a domestic terrorist, or, any number of things. If you get pushback from your child and they stay in school, they could go to one of these people and complain, not knowing what's going to happen, not realizing that by complaining, they might bring the full weight of the state down on all of you and they might end up in a group home. And then what will happen? You can't really warn them about that because you don't want to scare them and make yourself look like even more of a conspiracy theorist, even though you're right. If you go to school board meetings and start going on and on about, the terrible stuff in the library, I mean, you might win a couple battles, you might, but you might also just bring unwanted attention on your child. Bullying from kids, bullying from teachers, bullying of you. We really need people who are not in a given school district to be going to these meetings. We almost need to trade off so that our kids aren't going to be targeted because we're there. But these are the kind of things that can happen. I just heard the other day that an entire busload of kids from a local school were comparing notes on their way home about the letters their parents received from the school alerting all of their parents, like a busload of kids, to the alleged fact that all their kids have mental problems, that they're all mentally ill. They were given a survey in school. They were told it was anonymous. It was tied to their student ID, so you and I could have told them it's not anonymous. But they were still told, this is all private. We're not going to have a name attached to this. It's okay. You can answer the questions. It's just we want to get a sense of how everyone's doing. No, they were individually identified as being mentally ill, and their parents were all sent letters about this. And what that now means is, hey, parents, you're now notified. We've basically diagnosed your children with mental illness. So if they've been diagnosed and the parents don't do whatever the school subsequently says they should do to care for their now allegedly mentally ill children, will the parents be deemed unfit? Will the state take it upon itself to decide how they should be maybe medicated or counseled without the parents' permission or knowledge, maybe, perhaps? Just saying. So even if we want to point out the objectionable shit to our kids, they might not agree, they might not believe us, or they might just be plain afraid. Like, what am I supposed to do about it now, mom and dad? I got to go to a school where everything is objectionable. Or you're full of it. My counselor told me you're fill in the blank. Or here's another option that Dr. Tarzan didn't think about. If we can't pull our kid out at that precise moment for all the reasons I've given you, what are we telling our children about us when we tell them the school we drop them off at every day is dangerous and their teacher's an idiot? I mean, you can do that. I've done that. I know what that feels like. I know what that feels like. And what it feels like is your kids ask you, sometimes point blank, other times in their own minds without telling you, well, then why are you taking me there? Well, what is wrong with you that you are leaving me in this environment with idiots in control of me all day long? So what's the best case scenario here? I guess best case scenario is they agree with you. They think the teacher's an idiot. They go to school. They bide their time. They realize their time's being wasted. And this is like torture for them. And then maybe question your decisions and, life choices. Or what? That's the best case scenario? That's the best case scenario. No, I guess best case scenario is they say, please, please get me out of school. But then what if you can't? Is that the best case scenario? I mean, there are no good answers here. There are no good answers. But every time I see something like this, I'm glad the person isn't in front of me. I'm very glad that social media is at a distance. Because if we had to have these conversations in person, I mean, I would have the conversation. I would try to be civil. But it's getting increasingly challenging to be civil when people brush it off. As long as public school is teaching 2 + 2 is 4. Right. Because there's nothing else that, could possibly be damaging or dangerous. There's no grooming going on. There's no, parental alienation. There's no, don't believe your lying eyes, child. Don't believe reality. Oh, and P.S. You're racist. You're this. You're that. You're the other. But in the meantime, we're going to allow other people to be racist towards you or anti-Semitic or heterophobic or whatever else they happen to be. That's okay. That kind of bullying is okay of your child. How exactly are you going to parent this out of them? I just object to what I find objectionable is the suggestion anymore that the only reason kids are suffering in our public schools and private schools, for that matter, under the tutelage of these disturbed adults with these woke ideas, is that their parents don't care enough. Yeah, that doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work anymore. I'm not ready to go there. Until such time as I'm satisfied that every American parent knows exactly what's going on in their schools and exactly what it means and what kind of danger there is. And until such time as I know they could absolutely pull their kid out today, I'm not prepared to say that the only reason they're still dealing with this is they don't care. I'm not there yet. I might get there. So, just letting you know. But I'm not there now. I'm still sticking up for you guys. I still know it's not easy. And I still believe that probably about 70% of you are clueless. Like, really don't know. Maybe this is your first time ever seeing anything on my channel and you're like, what? What's going on? I don't know. Like, I dropped my kid at school and it's fine, isn't it? I mean, they hate school, but we hated school. Isn't that normal to hate school? No. Shouldn't be. If it is, it's not something we should just accept. You only get one childhood. That's it. One. You don't get to repeat it. And you're going to be working the rest of your life. And in our kids' case, they'll be working probably harder than we did because they've got massive debt to pay off. So, something to think about when you're out there. How many people have you talked to today to alert them to the fact that this stuff is going on? Are you a member of a parental rights group? Are you going to school board meetings? Are you talking to your friends and neighbors and family about these issues? Don't stay silent. Don't keep it to yourself. Because even if you have got things handled for your kid, they're growing up in a world populated by the kids of the people who don't know what's going on. And it isn't about whether those kids' parents care enough. It's about whether they know what's going on and they have the ability to fight it. And if it's too dangerous for you or for them to fight it for any of the reasons I've given you, and I would put that risk as very, very high. If you're in a blue state in particular, extraordinarily high. You should move heaven and earth to get your kids out, if for no other reason than you might lose your kids to the state. I'm not kidding. But yeah, I mean, if you got to talk to other people, make them aware that your kid's going to grow up and live in a world populated by their kids. So you do have skin in the game. If maybe it's your grandkids, whatever. But that's what I wanted to say today. I just wanted to chime in, say hi, and respond to this person who is completely clueless. Completely clueless. But he's also representative of a lot of people. He's practically an avatar for the majority of Americans who just pop their head up like a gopher and be like, what? What's the big deal? What's going on? Educate them. Educate them. I'm trying to. I need your help. Thanks for watching, you guys. As always, please like, share, subscribe. Visit my website, thereasonwelearn.com, now live.